Welcome to the channel for the first time viewers. Welcome back from my existing subscribers. Today we are going to look at the Razer Wolverine V3 Pro. I'm going to have a big overview of the software, tell you a couple of things that I do like about it, and talk about some things I don't like about the controller. So right now the software is super lightweight on the computer. As you can see, we can choose your profile name. You have your wired control settings, so you can do between Xbox mode, which is 250 hertz polling rate, or you do PC mode. It also shows you the keyboard shortcut for you to be able to see, which mode that you're on, or switch between back and forth. When you're using the PC mode, you can't use the app. So you'll see me try to save here, and it tells you, you can't use the app while doing it. So it'll save it and switch, right? So switch and exit app. But overall, me personally, I couldn't tell the difference between the Xbox mode and the PC mode. Now here are your M buttons. So you got M1 through pretty much M5. So M1, 2, 3, 4, 5, actually to M6 really. And these can be reset for any key that you would like. One of my favorite features about this controller is that you can actually change these keys, the keys on the back and the keys at the top of the controller, to actually whatever you want on the face. So if you want it to be up or down or whatever, you can also duplicate your profile so you can quickly switch back and forth between different ones. But as you see here, I'm going ahead and I'm holding the little circle button at the bottom beneath the share button, and that's your function. So while you're holding the function key, you can press any of the corresponding M keys, so M6, M5. What I do like about it is you don't need the app to do this. So as you see here, I'm not hitting edit. There's another screen you can go to customize the controller. We'll look at it later. But throughout this part, I was actually just holding the function key, pressing the back paddle, and then the face button that I wanted it to replace. So I was able to do that, in 10 seconds. You could do it on the fly. It responds right away, and I really love it. So once you're done with that, you can close out the app. The next section we're going to take a look at is the actual customization. So I go back into the settings here, and now we're going to go ahead and hit edit so you can kind of see what kind of options that you have. So lighting effects, I have mine on 25. I still want the Razer icon, but you can go all the way down to 0. You can also change the animation speed and the pattern. Power saving, I've since changed this to just 5 minutes. I might have done it in the video, but I changed it to 5 minutes. Haptic strength, it just is the vibration. Do you want it stronger or weaker? And then this is the big one here, the dead zones. So you can calibrate the dead zones to be 1 or 2 or anywhere up to, I believe it goes up to 5. And then you could do, there's an option to turn off double dead zones or avoid double dead zones. But I was very gently on 1. It was a little too sensitive. I was very gently nudging the stick here. So I ended up setting it to 2. There is a firmware update, which I'm going to go through at the end of the video, or the next section. I'm actually going to put gameplay at the end, but the next section that allows you to pretty much go down to 1, and it's the same sensitivity that 2 was. I've also since switched the circularity mode to circular. I'm not the most technical at this, so I was messing around with different options just to kind of see which one felt better. And it seems like circular takes away the up, down, left, right. It makes it more of a fluid motion, so it feels a little bit more smooth. The reason we're even having this conversation is because Black Ops is so much better on controller. So next we're going to look at the firmware update. I am going to fast forward some of this, but essentially you're going to be holding there's 2 keys that you hold. It takes a little bit of finesse, but you have to hold the up on the D-pad, A, and then while you're holding those 2, plug your controller up. There is a separate, this is not done with the Razer app, there's a separate firmware updater. Now what they updated in this firmware was there was issues with this controller at launch for those competitive players. I'm not a very competitive player. I typically play on mouse and keyboard. I just was like, hey, let me try this new Razer I was using. Let me just try it on Black Ops. I was like, yo, aim assist is kind of wild. So I ended up, rolling out with it. It does not go back and forth. So the aim assist on Black Ops 6 is not the same as aim assist on Modern Warfare 3. because that is more, I would say, traditional standard mouse and keyboard. For me, I'm better. But in this game on Black Ops 6, I'm actually better with controller, which surprised me. And that's how powerful the aim assist is. If they change it, then it is what it is. But the firmware update does take some time. Like I said, it's volume up and A. You hold those two while you're, what I did is I plugged the top of the USB-C into the controller, and while I was holding those two with the controller flat on the table, I plugged the USB into the PC, and then with the firmware tool open, it kind of picks that up and kind of rolls from there. So I'm going to fast forward the firmware update from there, and like I said, what it does is address those dead zones for those competitive players, and it just makes it so you can use a 0 or a 1 and not have what the perceived stick drift was. So there was a little bit of stick drift, like I said, in the very beginning. That was the problem people were having, is on those lower settings, they were getting stick drift. So, which shouldn't be the case with Hall Effect. So with Hall Effect sticks, you shouldn't have that issue, period. It should just be, those magnets should just work, right? It should just work whenever you press, and that's kind of it. All right, so I'm going to fast forward from here, and then we'll throw on some gameplay. All right, so while this fast forwards, I decided I'd go ahead and tell y'all what I really like about this controller. And I do have just a quick overview, like where I'm wrapping around. It's not the best footage, but the buttons, they're tactile. As you can see from the software overview, you have I think it's like M1, M2, which are the top two. And then on the back, this is where the back 4 paddles are. Now, the only downside to the back paddles is that you can't take them off, right? So they're fixed into the controller, which to me, I would look at more as a downside to the controller, because if you ever had an issue, that's something where the entire controller needs to be switched out. I do recommend that you get this Geek Squad protection or the Assyrian if you go through Amazon or wherever you get it. Make sure that you get some kind of protection on it, because it's Hall Effect. That's gonna protect the sticks, but anything else could go wrong, right? It could stop charging one day. Anything could happen. It's technology, so you want to make sure you protect your investment as best you can. But those buttons being fixed, just like the PDW or the PDP Victrix BFG, that one, I didn't like that about that controller, and I still don't like it about this controller. Now, as you saw, I'm going to bring up another, quick little video I took where you can see the accessories in the box. So outside of that, that's pretty much what you can expect inside the packaging. The case is not as good as the other cases. It's functional, it does the job, but at the same time, it doesn't actually do anything in addition, right? So you have no hole to pass the charging cable through, so you can charge it while it's in the case. You got to open it, take it out the case. It's just a carrying case, essentially. It's like a fabric material, so I predict that it will get dusty and dirty, but it may stay clean for you. I don't know. For me, it's probably gonna go inside the drawer when I'm not using the controller, and that's kind of gonna be it. It's not even really quick to access, right? The Elite, for example, the Elite Series 2 has the pass-through, but that's just to power the dock that comes in there, right? So you have a charging dock in there. So when you put your case or your controller back in the case, it's automatically good to go. What they need to do, Microsoft, is add some Hall Effect sticks to that controller, because that controller would then be on par with this one, because that's going to be the main issue with the Elite Series 2. And at 180 to 200 bucks, I think it went down. It's like 180 now. But at 180 bucks for you to pretty much get stick drift, that's wild. And yes, there is the actual Elite Core, I think, Elite Series 2 Core, which is like $90. But at the same time, if you add the paddles back to it, you're right back to where you start to get. So you're not really saving much by going that route either, although you do get some pretty cool colors. So that's kind of my take on the controller overall. It's an awesome controller. For Black Ops 6, using a controller, whether it's this one or anything, is going to be superior, at least based off of the beta, to mouse and keyboard. And when I play other games, it's nice and snug in the hand, as opposed to, some controllers that are, clunky and heavy. This has some weight to it, but I think it's well presented. It feels premium, because there's that difference between when something just is heavy, just because it's heavy for no reason, versus it feels premium. And this is more on the it feels premium. Let me know what y'all think about the controller. Let me know if it's something y'all are interested in. If y'all want me to answer any questions, go ahead and throw it in the comment section. I'll go ahead and answer it as I see them pop up. So yeah, long-term review, I'll give you my feedback, again, maybe in like 6 months or so. But for right now, I mean, I've got about 80 hours on it now. So I think it's safe to say that the controller at least is good, right? with 80 hours in of just Call of Duty, Madden, college football. Works on Xbox just fine. So if you're getting this for Xbox, ideally this is a great choice, because again, just stick the dongle. I put mine right in the back of the Xbox, not even the front, and I had no connection issues. Now I'm pretty close to it. It's on my desk, so along with my PC towers, it's right there, so it's not going far. Take that with a grain of salt. If you're going across the living room, I don't know what your connection is going to be like. You might need to use the front of the Xbox. But yeah, feels great. The share button, everything works as intended. Had no issues there. One person in a comment said it takes a little bit or a couple tries sometimes for it to connect or turn on. To me, you just hold the button until the vibrate comes on, and then it hasn't missed for me just yet. So I haven't experienced that. So the only times where it didn't turn the console on is when I only held it for like a quick second, didn't get a vibrate or anything like that. So hold it until you see the Razer logo turn on, and then you'll see you should feel a vibration, but then you'll see the light on your console turn on. And as far as for PC, this is probably jumping everything else and landing at the top of my charts, even against its very hefty price tag at $199. So hopefully this overview, my impressions, have helped you in your buying decisions, and I will catch you in the flip. Be easy.